all right.
Let me quickly share my screen. Okay, can we all see the screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, please. So, Mr. Zamfara, you have 5 minutes. This is 4:12. As much as you can, take me through your activities. Tell me where to go, where you assign resources. Just take me through. As we are talking, I'll be clicking. Then you take us to how you arrive at your assignment. Yes, great.
It's okay, sir. The first item here is permits from authority. There are some rocks that I need to blast during the excavation. I need to take permits from the anti-bomb squad and also GMDB, that is the authority responsible for approval of plans in Plateau State. So go to the resource sheet. Go to the resource sheet, sir.
Resource sheets.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Resource sheets. I'm there.
Yes. You see item number 1, GMDB, and then anti-bomb squad. I just put cost there, which is an amount that I have to pay to these particular bodies, these 2 bodies. So, and I did not put the amount here. Is when I am assigning it to the item that I will put the amount. Let's go to assign resources.
Assign resources.
Assign resources.
Okay, I'm there.
Assign resources. I'm trying to see mine. Sorry. I think we need to go back to the Gantt charts. First of all, let me go to the Gantt chart where item number 2 there, assign resources. You can see anti-bomb squad, the cost is 250. GMDB, it is 150. So I assign them to that particular item of work. Then the second one is site clearance. Site clearance, if we go to site clearance, I give it, let me say, assign resources. Also, you will see site clearance sub. If you go to site clearance, sir.
Yes, site clearance.
Site clearance, assign resources too. You see site clearance sub.
Assign resources.
Yes.
So site clearance.
So I'm giving this. I'm giving it to a subcontractor. So I am giving him to clear the site at 350.
How did you get the 350?
The 350, that is the amount we have agreed to do the work with him. And so I didn't charge per hour. So just so we just agreed at this sum. Hello, sir. He brought
50,000 naira.
So I want to know
excavator. Yes, sir.
I want to know how you got this cost here. Now, do you mind me opening your cost column? I need to see. I can see 350 here. How did it appear under your EAC?
It appeared 350.
Yes.
Sorry, under my EAC, yes, it appeared 350.
Now, because let me go back to your resource sheet. Your resource sheet, there is no cost there. So
yes.
I want to, it's not like I cannot guess how you got it, but I want you to tell the class how this 350 came about here.
You see, I can do this one per hour. Maybe let's say I divide this sum by 8 hours, then I can do it per hour for him to...
yes, Mr. Zafara, I understand.
Yes, sir.
This EAC now, did you type this 350,000 here?
No, I didn't type it. I typed 350,000 at this dialog box. That assign resource. That says assign resources.
Okay, so I am
resources. So So I typed 350,000 here.
Okay, you went here and
Yes.
you typed here directly.
Yes, I typed here
You did.
directly.
Okay, okay, great. I got it. Okay, this is the area where I advise people you can use your fixed cost column here. It's just for proper when you want to reference it, as you will see in today's class, you want to generate reports. Sometimes it's just good it shows and where it's coming from. Okay, great. Now there is always more than one way to kill it, right? Your time is up. So your time is up, Mr. Zamfara. Now, thank you. It's a very good attempt. I will make my own comment. But before I make my own comment, let me ask the class to ask you any question or make any comment or observation. What do you think you did wrong? What do you think you could have done better? So let me just get 1, 2 responses. So who has a question? Okay, Mr. Dennis, please.
Okay, thank you very much, and well done, Zamfara.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. My question would be, it's not unconnected with what Mr. Jonathan has been saying, but the Gantt chart shows that there's no allocation for your GMDB permit, and it's reflecting in your resource column. So that is I know he skipped that part because he wants to show us, but because he said we should ask you, maybe if you can, but if you don't want to, you might leave him to handle it. Yes.
But the one I have here, it has some for the anti-bomb squad and GMDB.
You'll see.
I don't know.
The first item.
Yes.
Permit from authority. So I think when we start
permit from authority.
Yes.
Yes, permit from authority.
Is saying it's sometimes it's just good. Like we are going to see much later today, it's good that when you go to your, let me go to resource sheet. When you go to your resource sheet, you should see some of these things, outlined. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So that in case you want to do, you want to generate some other reports. Okay, no, I'm not on resource sheet now. You can actually, it's easy to actually know from your resource sheet. Okay. We want to just print this out for reference purposes, what we call organizational process assets, right? So what it does for you after a project closure, you may want to put some appendices to a particular project to close it out. What it does was, I don't know if you watched my video or you attended the class on estimation technique. There is a subtopic there I taught on basis of estimate. And sometimes basis of estimate can be from past records. A QS, somebody in your office may just want to quickly replicate a similar project in future and wants to do analogous. Once he picks the project report and he looks at your resource sheet, he should be able to see, the previous rates you used, so that in case there's no time to hire a QS to spend 2 months on preparing a BOQ for a large project, you can actually use past data. Do you understand? So for instance, everybody will now say that, oh, these guys will actually pay carpenters 300 naira per hour the last time. So why not let's just maybe mark it up by, maybe if inflation is maybe 18% or 21%, you can just mark up 21% and quickly use. From the resource sheet, it's easy for you to from past record analogously estimate. So that's why I think Mr. Dennis, that's where you are going. It's good every of your rate appears on your resource sheet so that people at a glance will know how much did you buy wood, how much did you buy nail, how much should I estimate for zinc, so that in case you don't have a QS immediately on hand, and sometimes a QS will need to do market survey. But if you have done this project before and what you're about to do now is similar, why can't you just pick your resource sheet and quickly estimate while you are waiting for QS to finish his own? Do you understand?
Misunderstood, sir.
Yes. All right. Okay. So that's a
Thank
good
you very much. Yeah.
Now, let me make another comment, right? In arranging your project, in your arranging your WBS, it's good you summarize your tasks such that between you and the client, it's easy to create what we call milestones. Milestones. For example, if I were handling this project, right, I will permit me, I want to do something. Just watch what I'm doing. Can you see I highlighted everything on your foundation excavation, right?
Yes.
Then I have I highlighted, I left your summary task. I have indented it, right? Yeah. So I want to watch this foundation. I want to take it down to between mobilization to site and setting out.
Oh, it's all right.
Did you see what I've just done? Now, I want to insert another column and call it preliminaries. Is everybody seeing what I'm doing?
Yeah, another row, please. Yeah.
Yes. So what I want to do now, I want to put all these permits, site clearance, erection, mobilization. I want to dent it this way, and I want to go and dent it this way. Can you see? Can you see I've rearranged your WBS? Can you see that your concrete work now that was 2.0 has changed to 3.0?
Yes, sir.
Did everybody see what I've just done? Then if you go to your EAC, you know, the costs have now been separated. It was about 6-point-something million before, right? For foundation excavation. But it has, the software has automatically splitted it between foundation work and preliminary. I hope I am not too fast today. Is everybody getting? Can you just unmute yourself or use the chat box? I need to be sure that everybody got what I just did, right? Who is in class right now? Madam Feintola, especially, did you get it? Johnson, did you get it? Okay, great. Great. So Mr. Johnson says yes. Okay, great. So now, when I say it helps you and your client to agree milestone, for example, I want my client to pay me based on milestone. For example, I can say, okay, preliminaries complete, pay me this fee.
Hello, sir.
Hello, yes.
Sorry, sir. My eyes was not on the figure before. I was just, it was on the task.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry, you can unmute yourself again and speak, please.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I said, while you were explaining, trying to make some amendment, my eyes was not on the figure.
Yes.
My eyes were on all those tax name. So I didn't really know the actual amount that was there before. But now it's splitted into, you say it's splitted into 1 point and 5.3.
Yeah. Now, but did you see the way I splitted the task activities?
Yes.
Now
you had that preliminary.
Yes. If you've watched day one, you shouldn't have issues with this, right? So what I'm going to quickly do is to, can you see now? This was what it was.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So I am redoing everything I've done again.
Okay.
So can you see? That's just it. So it just helps you. Then we are going to see cash flow today, right? We are going to see how to generate cash flow today. When your summary task is organized like this, it helps the client to know, okay, for prelim activities. Now, there are some funders, right, that will require that either you or your client mobilize to site with your own fund first. I'm just using site because we are predominantly construction, but there are preliminary activities on basically any project you want to do, right? Now, if they ask you to mobilize to site with your own fund, your cash flow needs to show to what extent you need to deploy your own funding before the actual funding for construction comes in. So it helps you when your work is more organized like this. All right, so thank you very much, Mr. Zamfara. You can go back and reorganize your own work, Mr. Zamfara, with all the comments from Mr. Dennis and I. So I've stopped sharing now. The next person is Mr. Johnson. Can you go ahead and share your screen?
Okay, sir.
Meanwhile, Madam Banker, have you sent me your projects?
Yeah, well, I couldn't send through WhatsApp, so I sent it to your mail.
To my mail. Which of my emails? So just
yes,
my
Gmail. Yes,
Right.
that one.
Okay.
Your Gmail, yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll check it now. Mr. Johnson, please fire out.
Okay, what I did was it was 3-story building, but for the purpose of this class, I'll just only assign resources to preliminary and ground floor foundation and superstructure. That's I mean ground floor. So what I did, after listing the task, which was the previous week assignment, so I listed the task, I assigned duration, start and end date. Then I input my predecessors using lags and leads, depend on the situation. Then I now open from Gantt chart, I open what does this show? Sorry.
Now you're on view, so go to task. Everybody notes that it's a very common, mistake.
Okay.
That can you see? So when you are
Yes.
on, sorry, Johnson, before you move, let me just take that everybody through the challenge you just faced. So all those your tab that reveals your ribbons. You need to, once you're on view, you can only be viewing reports and progresses. So once you're on project, it's like taking an overview of your project. Once you're on resources, you know what you are doing. So if you need to assess any of these built-in areas, you need to go back to your task tab. Don't forget. If not, it will look as if something is wrong. Continue, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, then so after I've done duration and predecessors, I now have my resource sheet. So I now populate my resource sheet with materials that are required for the work. So I name the materials, the unit, and the rate. So for example, pegs 2x2, 2x2 pegs is a material. So I'm going to purchase it at
Johnson, are you in USA?
Madam Baka, that was the challenge I had. Once
Your prices are in dollars now.
When how to edit to Naira was done, I stood up from my seat. By the time I came, I didn't get it.
That's yeah, sorry.
Go to file. Go to file right now. Go to file. File.
Okay, yes.
No, file.
Up that gun.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Click file. Go to options.
I've clicked options. Okay, still loading.
Yes, it's still loading. Yes, the system is still loading. Now go to display. Is it this? Go to display first. Let me see. Great. So you can go to no. Yes, placement. Yes, placement. Okay. No, currency. Go to currency. Sorry. Currency.
Okay.
Yes. Then go to NGN. Go to N. Scroll to N. No, you are going to N is before you now. Go to N. Is everybody seeing this? I have choose NGN.
Yes, sir.
It has not changed though.
It has not. Okay.
Has it changed?
It's loading. I think the system is slow.
Okay. So, but why did it disappear? I can't see anything anymore. So
it's loading.
It's loading. Okay, great. Okay, great. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Now go back to your resource sheet. Now let's see.
Good afternoon, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Madam Banke, for the observation.
Yeah, back to Nigeria. You're welcome.
Yes, I just came back now. So I populated my resources with the materials, then their units, and I put the rate. After putting in the rate, so after populating my resources, then I went back to resource. So I now go to this thing can't remember. Why is it not? I need to close this thing.
Mr. Johnson, go back to your Gantt chart.
Okay, yes. So that what is now came to assign resources. For example, some there is no need for assign resources. For example, acquire site, there are no material resources to be applied. It's just labor, which I assign some cost, but because I don't know how to apply labor directly, so what I use is to just use cost. So budget cost, I just assign the budget directly. Then, for example, setting out, for example, the assigned resources were there. So in assigning, after clicking the
Mr.
task,
Johnson, can you
sir,
reduce your Gantt chart view? Reduce your Gantt chart view.
okay.
Can you see my cursor? You can't see my own cursor anymore. No, 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 no. Oh, go back to Gantt chart.
Yes.
That separator there, this separator, after predecessor, that separator, drag it to the right. Yes, drag it to the right. Just keep dragging. I want to see your costs. Okay, great, great. It's okay now.
Okay. So for example, when I want to assign resources to setting out,
yes.
So and after clicking the task, I'll now go to assign resources. So my resource sheet will open. I will now click the materials. For example, I need to use 1x2 wood. What are the quantity, which is the unit?
Okay.
I put the unit.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Now, thank you. Can you go back? I need to get this explanation with acquire site. Close this tab. This your acquire site. Okay, you use fixed cost, right? Great.
I use fixed cost.
Okay.
I wanted to assign the labor or whatever human resource, but I've not still yet clear on how to assign individuals. Assuming I have like 5 people that are going to work in query the site. But since this one is between contractor and the client, so it's just a fixed cost. Maybe they need to sign some document or transportation or meetings. So I just assign a sum lump as the cost it will cost them in acquiring the site.
Okay, great.
So I just put that one under EAC.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. I think it's clear. Your time is off. You will understand more once I take the third project. Can you unshare your screen?
Okay.
Okay, great. Let me see if I can quickly. Let me download Madam Banker's project now. It's coming. Okay, great. Share screen. Madam Banker, is this your project? Madam Banker, are you there?
Please. Yes, please.
Okay, so please take us through.
Okay. Nothing much or nothing serious. Like I told you yesterday, I think I used your, not like I think, I used your example, just that I made it more elaborate. So just like Mr. Johnson explained, that was the same thing I did. Now, I think after I spoke to you, the remaining part of the task, I was adding labor costs to the task that has not only material, like the laying of my cabs. I added the ones that have material. I now added the labor cost to it too, which I don't know whether it's the right thing to do or am I supposed to put the labor cost separately?
Where is laying of caps?
Like the first, that's
What is the
number
WBS number?
18, right?
WBS number.
WBS is 1.93. Okay, that's. I think I only put labor there. There's a
Okay,
place where
can
I
I go
have
to resource and see what's happening there?
yeah. Okay, that's the only one. I think is it procure cabs? I think there's one that I have both labor and material.
Now, if you want
Check
to
my
see, everybody knows, if you want to see what you have assigned, just click on the task, and then once you click on assign resource, anyone that is ticked there, that's what you have assigned to that task. So the only thing you assign there is cement, 15 bags, kerbs, 35 number, sharp sand, 4 wheelbarrow. That's the only thing.
Check my last item, 1.10, 1.10.4.
1.
Yes.
Okay, so let me do this now. You have labor.
Yeah. Okay.
Units. How did you get this one? Did you type it directly?
No, I did not. I have it on my resource sheet, and
Okay.
I've already put per hour, the man per hour, the amount there. So I think the only thing I adjusted here was the units, knowing that it won't take them more than half a day to plant the flowers. So when I did 50%, it automatically brought the cost.
You want to. Great. So let me go to your resource sheet. Let me go to your resource sheet. And labor, you are paying 300 naira per 1 hour. Now, everybody, I want us to take note of this, right? Let me see. I don't know why my participant bin is not showing right now. I want to draw everybody's attention to this. Maybe I will just use this to explain some things, and then we can move ahead. Can we confirm that we can hear me, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Great. Now, there is something that Madam Banke has done here, and we had a discussion with her, but I didn't even, tell her some of the things that she has done here. But I want to just help us note it. Her labor cost, she has estimated that she will be paying 300 naira per hour, right? And maximum, you can't work more than 100%. And from our MS Project setting, by default, MS Project is set to help us work 8 hours per day. 8 hours per day. 8 hours per day, that's like 8 to 5, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8 to 5, assuming there is 1 hour break. So it's 8 to 5 is 9 hours, then 1 hour break. So MS Project by default, changes it to just calculate that you work for 8 hours. So when you say that you are paying, you have said that you have a work and you pay 300 naira per hour, what you have told MS Project is that for 8 hours work, 300 naira times 8 hours is how much? 1 or 2 people, can you just unmute so that 2,400. Great. So that means if for every day of work, right, MS Project will cost your labor 2,400 automatically. Once you have indicated it on your resource sheet, you don't need to do any other work again. Now, let me go back and show us and use Banker's project to show us something, right? I'm going back to my Gantt chart. Now, one of our labor components here is what? Where were we? That 1,002 is it manure, right?
Planting of flowers.
Planting of flowers, great. So I am going to plant of flower, plan a resource and assign resources. Now, what you can see there that the software has priced it at 1,200. right? Do you know why? Who knows why? I want us to interact. Who knows why this software price is at 1,200? There are two reasons I want us to give.
I can see unit of
Because the time spent is 50% at 50%.
Okay, let me take Mr. Johnson. Let me take you first.
Okay, because the unit is 50%, which means he's doing half the not 100% complete.
Good. Esther, what were you saying?
The same thing, that's what I was saying.
Okay, now, first and foremost, let me draw our attention to something, right? A day work is 2,400. Just watch my cursor. Where is my cursor now? Let me confirm. Somebody can see my cursor.
At duration.
Duration. See what's going to happen if I change it to 3 days. 1, 2 days, 3 days, right?
Has not changed.
Okay, so I need to close. So I've changed my duration for planting of flower to 3 days, right?
Yes.
So let me go back to resource. Can you see that it went to 3,600?
Yes.
Yeah. So once you have populated your resource sheet, Mr. Zamfara, are you still here?
Yes, sir.
Good. So can you see this is an advantage of populating your resource sheet, even with your labor. Once you indicate work and you put it there as 300 naira per hour, the software automatically, you don't need to manually say how many days are they working. Once you do 2 days, once you do 3 days, the software automatically, based on the number of days, prices how much your budget for flowers will be. Now, Madam Banke, I don't know if they accept it in Abuja, but me, I know that, yeah, even if they work till 12/1, you must pay them their full day pay. So if you say they did 50% of work, fine. But at 100%, they're supposed to get 2/4. So Banke says they are working to 50% capacity. If she changes it to maybe their capacity was 70% capacity, so it will apply it as appropriately. So can you see that even your duration, it has changed it automatically, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to undo everything I've done to Banker's project now so that it doesn't affect. All right. Thank you so much. I think, does anybody have any question from the 3 presentations?
Yes. I have questions.
All right.
So my question is, in assigning labor, if it is materials, if it is the same material, irrespective of the task, once it's the same material, the price will also be the same. So only the quantities will be varying in the unit. But when it comes to labor, for example, if one labor is doing block work, is laying blocks, another labor is doing concrete work, definitely the rate will not be the same thing. So how do we separate the labors of different tasks? Or we have to be, each task, we have to be putting the labor different. If it is like material, once you populate your resource sheet, you can just be clicking whatever you want. But in this case, how do we do labor like that?
Okay. Thank you for that question, right? I think you asked and answered the question yourself. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, resource sheet. So what banker may want to do, it may be this labor. I can do labor, maybe labor, maybe underscore general. So Johnson, so you are correct. You can categorize your labor, right? So you can do.
Okay, sir.
You can do labor carpentry. You can do labor masonry. You can do labor concrete work.
Okay.
Right? You get it, right?
Okay, sir.
So you can do all of that
Okay, sir.
and make them specific. Then when you pick based on the task you are doing, you can do the same task. If it's an event, if you're an event planner, you can do labor for decorating, labor for movement of chair, labor for all that. So
Okay.
planning an event is also a project. So I believe that answers the question. Anybody with any other question? Okay, if there's not any other question, let me quickly move. Now, before we go into the practical, let me just show us one or two things. Then I can start, and then we can go into what we want to do today proper. Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can see it.
Great.
Yes.
So now, what we want to do today, right, from our training schedule is basically, I think, baselines, project tracking, and then cash flow, right? Cash flow. Then maybe I'll just show you a bit of other resources, other reports. Is out of the scope of this class, but I'll just show you how to generate other reports briefly, and then we can, call the class off, and then I will be expecting to hear from us in the next 1 week. Now, tracking project performance is the general thing we want to talk about today, tracking project performance. Now, when I say tracking project performance, what do I mean now? Now, project performance is actually like the overall measurement of whether a project has met its objectives and requirements. As a project met its objective and requirements. What are the requirements? Requirements of scope, cost, schedule. So this is what we call the measure of project performance. So I brought this first because there is baseline in what we are going to be discussing today. And because the overall performance of the project is based on these three requirements, it now takes us to, what we call the project baseline. But before then, there's something I showed us last week, the project statistics. Project statistics helps us to view all of our baselines in one place, right? Now, the thing is, you can view your resources as assignments, you can view costs in different aspects of the software. But if you want it in one single place, then you go to the project statistics. For example, right? For example, if I go back to the last screen I shared was Mrs. Banker's project, and I go to Gantt chart, right? Once I go to project and I click project information, project information, and I click statistics. Now, these dialog box I just opened in one piece gives me all my baseline. You can see there, time baseline, the total work hours that we're going to do. Sometimes some funders will request project impact analysis. They want to know, what's your, how do we call it now? What's the economic empowerment that your project has derived? Easily, you can just say that, wow, I have employed human beings for so and so hours. For example, Banker's project is employing people for 66.4 hours. 66.4 hours cumulatively. That is what Banker's project is worth. There are some complex projects, if you schedule it properly and completely, like that Johnson's project, you could be running into thousands of man hours. It impresses funders. So from project statistics, you get it in one view, then cost baseline. So Madam Banker knows that my current and cost baseline here is 1.244. Now your baseline is showing 0 yet because I've not shown you how to set baseline, but I'll show you how to set baselines today, right? So, but this is project statistics. At a glance, you know the scope of work, you know your duration is 19 days, you know that you are engaging, people are going to be engaged for 66 hours totally, and then you know that 1.2 million is what you are going to be using. Banker permission, I'll use your project as case study today. Do you understand? I'm going to be using your project.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yes, good. But I won't send it back to you. You'll go and redo your work. So, all right. So let me stop sharing. So we understand when I say project statistics now. So yes, it helps us to view total costs and other baseline for the project, task, resource, and assignment available in different views. So you will view it in one place, views that are available in different parts of the project. Now, what's a baseline? What is a baseline? You hear the word baseline. So that project managers, you talk like a project manager. When you're talking with your teammates, you're talking with clients, you're not saying, okay, my cost baseline is this, my baseline is this baseline is that. Now, or when you come to PIN, you can ask the QS. Now, do you know that sometimes I've done it severally, and Mrs. Banker can bear witness. She's done jobs for us, and we would start by telling her that we have a what? A baseline. Most times we make her use the top-down estimate. So we will have a cap and tell her to just do the BOQ to fit into a particular cost. Do you understand? So that means we have a set baseline. So a baseline is like a fixed reference point or boundaries used to compare project performance over time, right? Now, let me say something very, very important. I want you to take this very seriously and just mark it down. If you don't have a boundary within which you manage your projects, then you are not a good project manager. You must have a boundary. If everybody can just bring every cost every time for you to sign. Now, when you have documents on your table, right, based on what do you sign? Let me stop sharing first. I want to interact. Madam Feintola, are you still here?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm here.
Please, what do you do in your office? Right.
I'm into installation of solar system.
Great. Do you your office is it very complex? Do you have maybe superior officers? You have junior officers? Do you have approval hierarchy levels and all that?
No, sir. I just have technician. I direct them. I have technicians that works for me.
You have technicians that work for you. Do you
Yes.
approve costs, payments, all that? Madam Feintola?
Okay, what really happened is that I might have a customer that needed an installation of a particular project like inverter panel. So I will have done the costing. They get the purchase, and the technicians will just go there for the installations. But sometimes we get projects as well from company, for maintenance of all those things. So we cost them based on what we have done before or based on what is on the system.
Okay, if you send your technicians to site, how do you pay them? Do you mobilize them, or do you pay them upfront, or do you pay them after the work is completed and tested?
And we pay them after the work is being tested. And actually what they do is that they have to, where they worked, people there have to sign for them that they have done a good job.
Okay.
So, and we have an agreement that, okay, if you are going within Abuja, this is the amount we are paying you. So once they do the job, and it depends on the days they are using.
If they come, what do you use to pay them? How much will you pay them if they come back?
Like now, I have a project we just completed. If it's within Abuja, I pay them like 40,000 naira, and it depends on their numbers of panel they are putting. If I have a customer, like a project that they are having like 16 panels, they get more when it is below. So we have an agreement that if you are going to a place, if it's within 8 to 16, this is how much we are paying based on what we also have agreed with those people that gave us the contract. If it's a contract from a company.
Okay, great. What if you agree to pay them 40,000? When they come back, they tell you, they give you an invoice for 45. Okay, you know where I'm going with this, everybody, right? A baseline is that fixed reference point. If she agrees to pay them 40,000, when they come, before she will send the money into their account, whether she is there or she's not there, whether there is an accountant who is supposed to make the payment, the accountant will take the baseline document and look at it. Okay, I'm supposed to pay 40,000. If the invoice is reading 45, the accountant is not supposed to sign until there is a justification, right? So what I'm saying in essence is, if you are managing a project and you do not have a baseline, anything can go. If you are not around, people can just bring any kind of figures, any kind of figure, and the accountant will just be paying. But if there is a baseline and you know that the system is, you pay according to the baseline. So there is a fixed reference point that the accountant will go and check. Oh, for this work, 40,000. Okay, yes, it's correct, 40,000, pay. Once it's above 40,000, there must be a basis for that. So project baselines are used by project managers to understand how scope, schedule, and costs are progressing through the completion of the work, right? So right now, before I go to project cash flows, let me stop sharing my screen and go back to Madam Bante. Can we see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So what I want to do now is this. I just spoke about baseline. So if you have a project and your project schedule that you did is not just for presentation, and you want to use it on site to manage performance and to manage your work, immediately you are done assigning resources and everything, and the project, the schedule and Gantt chart has been accepted by your team to run with. The next thing you must do is to set baseline. How do you set baseline? You come to project, you may want to write, come to projects. There's something they call set baseline. Can you see what I'm doing now? Can you see my cursor?
Yes, sir.
Set baseline. Can you see that? I'm setting baseline for entire project, right? So if you want to set baseline for selected tasks, you can do that. But for entire project, usually I set baseline for entire project. All you need to do is to set baseline and you click OK. Did you get that? Did everybody get that?
Yes, sir.
How do you know whether your project baseline has been set? When I showed us project statistics, when I click statistics, I showed Banker that then baseline was 0. Can you remember?
Yes, sir.
But now a baseline has been set there, right?
Okay.
So a baseline has been set there now. So this is how you know that your project now is being baselined and we are ready to start tracking your project. Now, since I'm here, right, let me just take us through one or two things, and then we can now see whether we can, how far we can go. Can we? Now, I want us to note something, right? If you are, can somebody confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Loud and clear, sir.
Great. So you may want to just write a bit here. What I'm going to say now, I don't have a slide for it. So if you have set your project baseline, you now need to begin to enter manually figures that you want to track. What are you tracking? What are you tracking? Now, note this down. You and your team must note the actual start date of your project. Now, you have baselined your project to start on some certain days. All your activities are starting on some certain days. Now, because all your activities are starting on some certain days, doesn't necessarily mean that those activities will start on those certain days. So it is now that you begin to know that, okay, if I say I'm starting on the 19th, did I actually start on the 19th? So you need to begin to keep that record. So write that down. That's the first thing you must always do. Your actual start date must be filled in so that you can properly baseline your project. Now, another thing that you must note is your percentage complete. You must be able to estimate that, how far you have gone. Then sometimes you may be able to just say, your remaining durations. How many days is remaining? So the software can help you calculate your percentage complete. Then you must also know your actual finish dates. Your actual finish dates. Now, let me go back and share my screen, right? I'll go back now and share my screen. Let me use Madam Banker's project. Now I'm going back to task, and then I'm on Gantt charts, right? Task, and then I'm on Gantt chart. So the next thing is when you activate this your what can you see right now on the screen? What can you see on the screen, please?
The Gantt charts.
Please, can you use the chat box? Somebody is breaking. Can you see Banker's Gantt chart, or you can see something else? Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Okay, great. So now, what I'm going to do now is to go to the activate Gantt chart. Then, for me to start tracking my baselines, I will need to go to the View tab and then Table. Are you following me? I'm on the View tab right now. Somebody is trying to say something, but I can't hear you. Mr. Johnson, can you say something? Let me be sure.
Yes, I'm seeing the screen.
Okay, and you can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Please, can you remain on mute so that you can give me feedback? I don't want anybody to miss it. Yeah, thank you. Now, so you can see the view, right, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm just calling Mr. Johnson's name because I want to be sure everybody's hearing me. So don't mind that I'm using his name. Now, when I go to the View tab, see where I'm going. I'm going to Table.
What?
I'm going to Table. Don't forget that I told you that MS Project can appear in what? In tables, that spreadsheet, in charts, and all of that. So can you see what I am viewing now? What is checked there is entry, right, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
So I can view my entry, all the entries to my Gantt chart here. I can view cost here. So check what will happen when I click on cost. Now you can take note of that and pen it down. Can you see that it has removed every other thing and it's just comparing my task to the costs?
Yes.
Because I've activated my baseline, it is showing me total cost. It is showing me my baseline cost. But it is not showing me actual yet, right? Because I've not started saying actual, right? Mr. Johnson, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
And it's telling me that my remaining cost is still the same thing as my baseline. Can you see that? That's because I have not told the software that work has started yet. Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
So that's under cost. Let me go to, of course, you can also view schedule. Schedule will remove every other thing and just compare your task and your schedule. When you go to variance, schedule will compare your task with your variance, right? Baseline start, baseline, and it just shows all your variance. If you go to table and you click on work, it will just compare how your work is moving, percentage complete and all that. Banker says she wants to do this work for 66.4 hours. And then, please, somebody note this down. After the class, remind me that I said I will show you how to do summary tasks. There's something I've noticed with Johnson and Banker's, Gantt chart, but I don't want to go back to that topic now. How to show summary tasks so that it will help them a bit. So my view now, I'm changing my view from work now to summary. Do you understand? It gives a bit of summary, work summary, cost summary, percentage finish summary. Your table can also go to usage, how you are using, resources. But what I am particular about now is tracking. So check what I'm doing now. I've clicked tracking. Can you see the columns? Mr. Johnson, just list the columns you can see.
Actual start.
Okay.
Actual finish.
Yes.
Percentage complete. Physical percentage complete. Actual duration. Remaining duration. Actual cost. Actual work.
Okay, good. So what I'm going to do now, right? I want to move this my split bar. This is called the split bar. What I'm moving now is the split bar. Can you see?
Okay.
I want to
Yes,
move
sir.
it to percentage complete. Do you understand? So the only thing I'm seeing now, let me expand my tax column a bit. Please, am I too fast? If I'm too fast, you can just unmute yourself and ask me to break a bit. If you have questions, you can just bring it down. So my task and then my split bar, I move it to percentage complete, right? Now, what I want to do now is the percentage complete, column. I want it to be at the right of my actual stats. The percentage complete column, I want it to be at the right of my actual start. I showed us how to do all this dragging the last time, right?
Yes, sir.
So my percentage complete column is there now. Then I will also need to, let me say, my remaining duration. Let me just put my remaining duration. So I'm taking my split bar now. I'm expanding it. Remaining duration. I just want to put them together because now I want what will make me track my project. The things I'm going to be changing to help me track my project and baseline is what I want to put together so that my project team and I knows what we are working on per time, right? So I put that there. Then my actual stats now, I want to now, let me show something. Good. Now, let's assume Banker's projects, right? Banker's project is showing that actual stats. Can you see that everything there is showing NA, not available, right? Now, let's say Banker chose color. Can you remember when she said she will start this project? Let me go back to task, right? And just go back to view. Watch. Each time you want to view your original thing, you can come here. View, choose color. Entry. I'm viewing my entry now. Banker was supposed to start view color on the 19th of July. Let's assume she started today, Saturday, 22nd of July. So I'm going back to my table now and going to track. So I will now say Banker, actual start for Banker was 22nd of July, right? And as of today, what's the percentage of work that she has done? Let's say she's able to achieve 15% of work. So I've done 58%. So can you see that it has shown that, you know, out of the 1 day, 0.8 more days is remaining. So if it's 2 days, it calculates like that for you. Now, because it's calculated like this, let me undo something, and it's done 20% of work, right? So let me go back to my baseline. Watch, project information, statistics. Can you see actual duration? 19 days, but actual that we have done now is what? 0.15 days, because it's only one activity that started. And how many days are left? 18.5 days. So it's easy. For example, you are in a meeting with your client and then I say, what? Okay, how many days have we done so far and what is left? But I'm surprised it's not showing in work and cost here. So let me go back and see why. Okay, choose color does not have cost implication.
I did not assign cost to it.
Good. No cost implication, right? So let me do something that has cost implication, like procure pen. Do you have cost implication there? Now, let me. You don't have
erect scaffold. I don't for procurement.
Right. Okay, let's say, oh, we have not reached, so it will be wrong. But let me just assume that we erected scaffold to today, right? And then let's say we finished erecting our scaffold today, or we've done actual start for it, so we've done 90% of the work, right? Can you see that? Can you see that as I'm doing it, is trying to tell me that if you have done 90% of the work, is actually not saying whether you have paid outrightly or not. So if I go back to my project baseline now to track, can you see what it's saying here? It's saying that we have done, yes,
1.46 days.
we have spent 1.46 days. We have done remaining 17.5 days. Actual money you have spent so far is what? It's 225 days, and then you have left with 1 million to spend. So it helps the clients to know, okay, this is where we are per time. This is how far we need to go and how far we are going, right? So I won't do that for all the tasks, but I know we are getting the basics of what I'm trying to show us. Now, if you go back on your own and you keep checking this view, as you are tracking your baselines, don't forget where I started from. Under view, under project, I set my baseline, right? You must set that baseline. If you don't set baseline, all these things I'm doing, you won't be able to do it. So you must remember to set baseline. Then under your project statistics, you can be there and track it. Like I told you, project statistics is the pane that just gives you a quick summary at a glance. There is a place where you can view your duration. Like I told you, under this view table, you can view how your cost is doing. You can view cost alone. See cost now, for example. Can we see what I have here now? It's tracking my cost alone. This is cost alone. So far, it's saying our cost baseline is 1.24. We have done 225,000 actual, and you have remaining of 1,019,000 to go. Did you see that, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as you are tracking from that view under tracking, as you are tracking these 3 items, every other thing, like I told you, this is the most important aspect of your tracking. Actual start, make sure you include your actual start and actual percentage complete. Now, let me show something else under project, right? Can you see under schedule tracking, current baseline was this, actual start is this. Can you see variance? Can you see that variance column is now activated? for start.
Yes, sir.
What it means is that what? You are late by 3 days, right? Don't forget that I say lag is positive. If you started earlier, it will be actually minus because it's a lead. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now for finish is actually not being tracked. Now, what I do on my project is each time every task is finished, for example, if choose color is finished, or this erect scaffold, let's assume we attained 100% on this same day. I will go to that same day and I will click on my what? On my finish, that it finished on that day. Can you see? Once I do that and I go back to my project statistics for the task, okay, because the entire project is not finished. So it has increased my work and all that. So if you have paid 100%, you may now need to go and see where you can begin to record your actual, actual durations and percentages. Now, because I want us to spend a bit of time in cash flow, let me stop this. We will come back to more reports, how to generate more reports on this. But does anybody have any question? Do you understand where I am going with all this? It's getting a bit more technical. That's why I left this for the last day. Okay, so we've known the baseline and how to track now. Let's go to project cash flow. Now, I have these 3 bullet points here just for those of us who may not be finance related, if you've not done anything about finance before. Now, let me make a definition, then I will illustrate something on the board, then we go back to the software to start working on our cash flow. Now, what is a cash flow? A project cash flow is a table that shows cash requirements for your project. It's just simple. Cash requirements for your project. Cash flow report in MS Project, is a tool that is used to study the cash flows by breaking inflows and outflows down, usually on a monthly basis. You can do it on a weekly basis, but because I know most times to avoid too many disbursements, monthly or quarterly basis is what you should do your cash flow on. It helps the client to prepare the next money before the due date. Now, part of project finance planning for project is understanding the inflows and outflows of cash that will be created by the project. Now, let me just illustrate this a bit. Sorry, is my screen bold? Can you see the board? Is the board clear? Can we see the board?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it clear enough?
Yes, sir.
Now, it's just for those of us who may not be finance inclined, right? When you say a cash flow, usually a cash flow has 2 aspects. Sorry. A complete cash flow should have 2 aspects. The first aspect is we have the inflow. Why this is the outflow. So every cash flow must have how money comes in and how money comes out, right?
Hold on.
Now, what does okay, let me start from the outflow. What does the outflow do? Outflow simply shows you the cash
That's going out.
Cash requirement for the project. Now, the inflow is actually connected to your funding source. Ideally, right? Ideally, sometimes your project accountant can actually tell you this is how much. So there are two ways to do this, and it can affect your schedule. But let me look at the ideal situation that as a project manager, you are in control of how you want the money to come in and how you want the money to go out. So from what we're going to do today is the project, MS project will help you to generate the cash requirement for your project to help the inflow planning. So outflow ideally should help the inflow planning. Outflow in the sense that, for example, let me say activity A, B, C. Activity A, you need 500K. Activity B, you need 750K. Activity C, you need maybe 200K. Now, then your project probably is in, maybe you have week 1, week 2, week 3. Don't forget that you have scheduled your project already, right? Into dates. So the MS project will separate it into individual weeks for you. Once you have scheduled your project properly and you have your start date and you have your end date. So what's going to happen is, if you say activity A, let's say your project is starting on the 19th of July and ending maybe on the 19th. Let me just check and take 3 weeks or 4 weeks from 19th. 19th of July, the next date will be 26th of July. Then you have 2nd of August. Then you have 9th of August. Let's assume you have 16th of August. The project ends. So it's taking about 4 weeks, right? So 19 to 26 is week 1. 26 to 2nd is week 2. 2nd to 9th is week 3. 9 to 16 is week 4. Now, let's say activity A is happening between 19th and 26th. What the software will do automatically is to say that all the money that activity A will need, it will first carry it and put in week 1 in the week there, 500K. But if by your schedule, let's say activity A has maybe some subtask, maybe there's A1.1, A2, A3. Let's say A1 is happening in week 1, A2 is happening in week 2, and A3 is happening in week 3. What the software will do is that it will check A1. How much did you have gone to assign your resources. So if you have not assigned your resources, or you did not assign your resources properly, your cash flow report will be wrong. So it will go to how you assign the resources and check what are the resources for activity A1. It will now package everything you have assigned there and put it in week 2. Let's say it's 150K in week 1. It will go to A2 and put all the money of A2, maybe 250K. And maybe A3 is happening maybe in week 4. It will now put 100K. Because in your resource assignment, you assign certain resources to A. A is a summary task and it has some sub-tasks underneath it, right? So it will carry it based on your resources assigned and on your schedule. You don't need to do that with your brain. That's why I tell you that if you are able to do this, it makes the work of your project accountants very, very easier. And you don't need to be an accountant to do this. Once you enter that resources, you assign your resources well, this automatically brings that table for you, spreadsheet. Accountants use Excel to do this. But accountants will now need to manually go and be checking. this activity, when is it happening? It's happening in week 1. They will now need to calculate the material all over, calculate the labor all over, put it in week 1, carry week A2. Now, the same thing with B2. Maybe B2 is starting in week 2 and you need 500K there. And the balance of 250K maybe is an activity that is taking only 2 weeks. Can you see that? Then C activity, maybe it's not happening until week 3 and week 4. Let's say you need 100K in week 3 and you need another 100K in week 4. So you can see that for week 1, how much do you need? Who is on mute? You can answer me. How much do you need for week 1?
150.
150K needed by activity A. Depending, don't forget that I'm just using as illustration, the summary task. Madam Banker, please, did you successfully assign resources to all your tasks?
Yes.
Great.
Except some like procure paint.
Okay, no problem. So we can use your this thing to model our cash flow. Then in week 2, how much do we need? 750K, right? What's the total budget? 1.45 million, right? This is the total budget if you add all of this. So, but out of this 1.45 million, in week 2, we need 750K. In week 3, we need 350K. In week 4, we need 200K. So most times, I like to just add it up and be sure that this is equal to this. If your monthly cash requirement is not equal to your baseline cash requirement, then something is wrong. So you just need to do a quick check. So let's do our monthly requirement. Weekly requirements now. Week 1, 150 plus week 2. That will give me 900, right?
900.
Plus week 3, 350K. That will give me
1.250
plus 200K.
1.45.
1.45. So why did I get 1. That means my calculation is 950 plus. Okay, yes, I missed it here. So can you see that it is the same thing, right? Is equal to, then you may want to quickly do a quick check. 150 plus 250 plus 100 is 450. 500 plus 250 is 750. 100 plus 100 is 200. So that's just a summary, simple explanation of what cash flow does for us. Now, check it now. Check it out. If you generate this from MS projects and you give to your clients, or if you're in an organization and you are just doing this as your department and you give this to accountants, there is no way that your project will be stranded when it comes. It's because it's a small project that is within 4 weeks. That's why I did it in weeks. If not, usually I would have done my cash flow in months. A project that is taking, once the project is actually exceeding, project of between 1 to 3 months, you can use it in weeks because it's just 12 rows and 12 columns you are going to have. But if it's going for 1 year, it's just good to just do it in months. And if you want to break it down in weeks and have 52, why not? If it's a 4 years project and you don't mind having 100 and something columns, why not? It makes life easier. But I advise people, if the project is short, you can do it in weeks. But if it's a long project, please give your clients your cash flow in months. As a matter of fact, if a project is even exceeding, getting to 24 months, I prefer to give my cash flow quarterly. What happens is that it reduces the time lag between processing of funds. So you get more money upfront and it helps you to plan, right? So it helps you to plan when the disbursement, milestone and disbursement dates are far from each other rather than close to each other. But it's a small project, so weekly can still work. So this works for organizations that probably does management meeting every morning, every Monday to approve funds for the week. You can give them this kind of cash flow, right? In weeks. So now I know that my client or my organization needs to disburse 150K in week 1, 750 in week 2. Now, how does this help the accountant? How does it fit into their cash flow? So the accountant now will now say, okay, if this is the outflow, it means the inflow must what? Must be greater than or equal to outflow. The inflow should be greater than or equal to the outflow. So it is now the accountant. Now, but as a project manager, sometimes you manage this thing holistically and you suggest it to them. You now say that, what is the inflow source? Is it through the financier, or does the organization need to make sales, or does the organization need to do an overdraft in week 1? You understand? So it helps the organization to plan. In week 1, we either look for to a financier, sales, and overdraft. If all this is not forthcoming, they know that, okay, we need to go and look for a loan of 150K. If they are not disposed to loan, then maybe they will now go to their reserve. Yes, there's what we call reserve in every organization. They can get the money from their reserve and then put it back when the money from sales come in. So usually, what can I clean this? Did you make any notes here? Can I wipe? Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
I can wipe, right? Okay, so
Hello, sir.
What's the accountant normally will now do with what you have given them is, so if they don't know, you can now help them. They will create inflow, right? And they'll create inflow and they'll create an outflow. So if they already have your outflow week 1, they know the amount. Week 2, week 3, week 4, right? They know the task A, B, C, right? Task A, B, C. So they know you need this here. They know you need maybe Y here. They know you need W here. So
thank you, Jesus.
each of this your week. They will now create an inflow to say that they will create their inflow to ensure that it is greater than or equal to what you are needing in week 1. Now, this is for them, because you as a project manager, you are not the founder. It's just to help your clients organize and do that. But sometimes I do inflow. If I have it, if they let me into the total, how do I call it now? Financing of the project, I help my clients to do even this one. The project I told you I was working on now, I had a meeting this morning in town, and what I went to do today's meeting is very simple. How are the financiers disbursing the fund? I am interested in knowing, because so that if I do something for you, a project plan for you, and I finish simulating everything, I give you the cash flow. If I don't have an idea, if I have an idea of the funding plan or the disbursement plan by the funder, I will be able to better advise. Now, let me say something that I am noticing now. Okay, I will use the exact figure, but let me just give an example of the project I went to look at today. I was told that the project is actually over 2 billion, right? And that the funder have said that this 2 billion, 30% of 2 billion is how much, please? 600 million, right? Right? So the funder has, I'm just giving us this practical experience because it's something I have on ground. And like I told some of us that to bring practical project examples, but nobody has brought. So I am sharing my own. So the funder wants my client to mobilize to site with at least 30% of fund, his own fund. Then they will now come in with 70%. After 30% of fund is on the ground, that means they are committing to give 1.3 billion, right? And at this 1.3 billion, they will disburse it, I think they say 4 or 5 times. So because of that knowledge I have today, this is not the exact figure. So what I'm going to do is to do 1.3 billion divided by 5. Now, I'm saying this for those of us who are in construction here, right? Let me just name Mr. Johnson. Some of us may also be in construction, but I just want to name a few people. Mr. Johnson, that I know this will be full to. Mrs. Banker and Mr. Dennis. I'll just I'll just use these three guys because I know they are big project people. So if I divide 1.3 billion by 5, so what do I have, please? I need practical. If I divide 1.3 billion by 5, what do I have?
0.26. 0.26.
Are you sure?
Yes. 0.26 billion.
That means million.
260 million. Yes, 260
So
million.
that means they want to give him 260 million each time. Now, do you know what my responsibility is? Because it's engaging me to manage the project. Who knows what my responsibility is? Let's interact with it. Madam Banker, let me pick on you. What am I supposed to do with this information I have? Within the context of what we are discussing, Madam Banker.
Okay, so I think you should, if you have already done you have the plans and you done your MS project, what we've done so far, it should be able to help you plan what tasks or works to be done with each stage of the disbursement.
With 260 million, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So I won't take another comment. I think she's dead. She hit the nail on the head. So now, because I'm talking practical now, let me tell you people what I started doing today. Because my client is required to use 30% of his own funds, 600 million, and he needs to prove that he has used it before this is disbursed. So what I now did for him is this. I said, this is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to do. Let's assume we want to do 600 units. I will also divide 600 units by 5. Right? I've actually not worked it out, but I'm going to work it out. I'm submitting the documents to him next weekend. If I do 650 by 5, what do I have?
120.
So on the average, it should be able to do me 120 units. Technically, it may not be so, but technically, either 120 units or foundation or something. So I have two options to give him. However, I will rather tell him to do 120 units at a time, or I will reschedule my Gantt charts to do maybe 300 units. Maybe I'll now say, I'll check the cost of foundation, right? Check the cost of superstructure, check the cost of roofing, and compare it with the baseline we've been given, right? What we are going to do, this is what we are going to receive. So what I plan to do here is to tell the man, like I was telling Mr. Zamfara, always put some tax to prelims. I am going to put preliminary activity worth 300 million. I am going to put a phase 1 worth 260 million. Phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. Guys, you know, we have entered another topic called project planning now, but I want to use it to just buttress a point before I move ahead, right? Now, so if I divide it into these phases, this is what I am going to do in my preliminary phase so that we can get money on time. I will ensure that this does not exceed maybe 2 weeks. And under my prelims, I will put things like acquire land. My client already has land that is worth over 200 million. So it's easy, right? I will put acquire land, and I will what? I will assign resources to acquisition of land to be worth what it is worth. I will do site clearance. As a matter of fact, I can even put pay for economic trees. Do you understand? Even if the economic trees are there, but the tax says pay for econometrics. So by the time I am able to achieve this, and my resource sheet shows that my prelims summary tax is worth 300 million, right? I am due for disbursement of 260 million from the funder, right? So at this point, this is where you need to go back to your Gantt chart and begin to, let me go back and share my screen now. I'm going back to Banker's project. It's our case study today. So confirm that my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
So see what I'm doing now. I'm going back to task. I'm going back to task. I'm going back to Gantt charts. Right? No. Can you see what I just did? Can you see what I just did? I click Gantt chart. Do you know why I didn't show? I just want us to note this thing, because these are the challenges you'll be encountering. And then you are free to give me a call anytime you encounter such challenges. Who knows why I went to task, I went to Gantt chart, click Gantt chart, and it didn't change? Who knows why? Okay, are you figuring it out? Okay, let me just tell you quickly because of time. I went to view. I was on view, table. Can you see I'm still on tracking?
Tracking, okay.
So I'm supposed to go back to where? Not cost, not every time. I'm supposed to go back to where? My entries, right?
Entry.
So I'll go back to my entries and change it. So now, if you encounter this kind of issue after you have done your schedule, you know what you need to come and start doing? You begin to look at your task, right? And as you're looking at your task, now, you know what? You need to do all this one before you generate your cash flow. That's why I look as if I am taking my time. Now, if you are just doing a project and it's not going to be practical, you can do it anyhow. But if you are doing a project that you want to be in charge, it's going to be practical. You want to be in charge and you want to be able to track. It's good you take out your time to be interested. Like today, the focus of my meeting down today is that I went to tell the class, say, I cannot just plan your project if I don't know how you are getting your money. You have to let me into how you are getting your money. Those of us who did project management training, you were told, I know Dennis, Banker, Mr. Johnson, your PMP journey, right? Your PMP journey. You were told that in the initiation stage, you must what? Sign what we call a project charter. Am I correct?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, during your training, at what stage were you told that the project manager must be brought on board? Is it planning stage?
No. From
At
the
the beginning,
initiation now.
at the initiation,
Yeah.
at the initiation stage.
Good. So this man brought me in to plan the project for him, but I am insisting now that some of the, how do I call it now? Some of the outcomes of their initiation stage, they must let me into it. Do you get what I'm saying? So I demanded to know the business case. I don't have business knowing how much they are selling the houses. But I said I wanted to know. I wanted to be able to work out something. So I gave him my reasons. So he's beginning to tell me today now is like me and him initiated the project all over again. I wasn't there when it was initiated, but he took me through how they wrote the proposal, how the application went back, how much they are funding. That's how he told me that his own stake in the equity there must be 30%. This is how they are giving him money, all these things. Because I understand that I am coming back now to start adjusting my schedule. Do you understand? So if I know that, for example, let me go to procure curves that is costing 41,900. If I know that within that period, the disbursement from the client does not cover it, what am I supposed to do? I need to go back and change my what? My start date and push it further. Is that not correct? Hello?
Yes.
Correct.
It's correct. So that once, I generate my cash flow, it is rhyming with what, it won't put my client under pressure to be looking for money elsewhere. If not, if he's unable to get it, it will tell on my own performance as the project manager, because I have scheduled my project, I have start this, I have ending. Don't forget that when I took us to baseline tracking, if you still remember it, you can ask me after this slide if you can't remember it. When I took us to baseline tracking, when you begin to enter that your actual start date, actual finish date, it begins to tell on your project report. If we don't have time to generate project reports today, I would advise us to just go through it. Anyone you have question is, you can just, in the next 1 week, you can just request for a 30-minute session. So what will happen is that if you are generating your report, you are generating reports that is detrimental to your own career, because the report will now be, it will not look as if you are doing badly with costs and all that. Okay, so having said that, I'm going to generate cash flow for bankers project now. So I want us to watch this very well. I want to do this just within 10 minutes. Then I'll start taking questions. Now, I'm going to the report tab. Can you see my screen? The report tab.
Yes, we can see, please.
Great. Now, the report tab, there are several reports you can generate there, right? If I go to cost report, cash flow, end value, that. So I won't go into all. You can generate resource reports. You can generate critical task reports. Can we still remember critical task that we did last time? If you can't, please go and watch the video. Mr. Zamfara, let me mute. Zamfara, I am muting you now. Okay, great. So if you cannot remember, watch the video of the 2 baseline. But for today, I'm focusing on cash flow. So watch. I go to cost now. I'm generating cash flow. Now, you can generate cash flow in 2 ways. Can you see this one? It's strictly saying you are viewing here. Can you see? If you just want to view, you use this part of the ribbon. But if you want to export so that you can use it with your accountant and your client, usually I will like to just do a visual thing. Once I click it, can you see several reports I can see there? Because I want them as a spreadsheet so that I can work on them, I can print, you can send to accountants. They don't need MS Project to be able to see your formulas and all that. Can we see the pane that just appeared? I'm going again, visual report, export. Can you see that? I just want the person to, okay, good, great. So now, can you see several reports that you can get? You can go and try all of these on your own. This is under all. If you want a tax summary report, tax usage report, cash flow, but all the reports, I'm clicking on all now. But what I'm interested in for this scope of this training is what? Is cash flow report, which actually summarizes every other thing. So immediately I click on cash flow, I'm going to view now. Can you see? I've clicked on view. So can you see loading? The green button, the green bar is loading.
Yes, sir.
Good. It's opening it now in Excel for viewing. It's exporting it as an Excel file. Can we see now? What is showing there is a what? Is a graph, like a bar, cash flow.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So if you go there, that chart, the only thing activated there is cost and cumulative cost. If you want to show the bar to show actual cost, can you click it? If you want it to show your baseline cost, you can click it and all that. But that's not what I'm interested in today, right? Let me take us to what I am interested in. Go down. What can you see? That spreadsheet, there are 2 sheets in the worksheet. The first one is called what? Chart, right? Can we see my cursor? Bottom left, chart. Can we see it? Banker, you can unmute.
I cannot see. You are still at that where you click on cash flow report view.
It's still showing cash flow here.
Can you see my? But can you see my cursor?
Yes, your cursor is on view. That's what we are saying.
On view.
On views. So, okay, now go to the bottom left. If you have an spreadsheet, you know you can insert new sheet. In one workbook, Excel workbook, you know you can have different sheets, right?
Yeah.
Now go down to that place where you are viewing sheet. What can you see? Okay, you know what? I have stopped sharing now. So let me go to, I know why you were not saying, sorry about that. I've exported the file. So I am sharing my screen now. Can you see it now?
Mm.
Can you see a spreadsheet?
Cash flow report.
Yes, we
Cash
can.
flow report.
Beautiful. Now this is what this is what exported from the MS project. So you can see chart and you can see stars usage. Can you see that? How many sheets does this workbook have? 2, right?
2, can see chart 1, then task usage.
Beautiful. Can another person confirm that you can see it now? Mr. Dennis or Johnson, can you confirm that there's chart 1 tab and there's task usage tab?
Yes.
Yes, good. So I'm clicking on.
Yes, sir. Yes, cash flow report. Yes.
I'm clicking on task usage now. What can you see now?
Okay, Excel sheet. An Excel sheet, yeah.
Beautiful. Now, the spreadsheets, the MS project are categorized. Bankers project is happening in Q3 of 2023. That's what the spreadsheet is saying. Can we see that?
Okay.
Yes.
Beside Q3, can you see a plus sign there?
Yes.
What does it mean? If I click it, that means it has some other things under it, right?
Yes.
So I have clicked it now. Can you see it has brought out week 29, week 30, week 31, and week 33?
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, follow my cursor, top right. Can you see 4 boxes? Task, value, weekly current, lender, and cost. Can you see it?
Wait, not yet. Where? Okay, your cursor.
Yes. Right.
Task.
We call it the pivot table. Can you see it?
Yes.
Can you see what I just dropped down now under task arrow?
Yes.
Now, I want my task, all of bankers' tasks in the MS project to come out in rows. Do you understand? So you can try columns by yourself, but I prefer doing my cash flow in rows. Do you understand? Some accountants will prefer you to give them a column label, but I'm doing it in row label. So I'm clicking it now. Just watch what will happen to my spreadsheet. I've clicked it. Can you see what is happening now?
Yes, sir.
It has expanded to banker's title is MS Project Training Assignment. So let me expand all the plus there. Can you see it's bringing all of banker's tasks out now? Did we see that?
Mm.
The story building, can you see it's bringing it? It has brought level 2 out, right? Can we see that?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. So what I want to do now, right? I want to hide these 2 columns. They are not useful to me. That's what I said I will explain at the end of the class. I want to hide these 2 columns so that I start from my tax 2 level, right? Let me also hide this quarter column, right? Are we still following me?
Yes, sir.
And I also want to hide the year column. You can unhide them later. See what I'm doing now? In week 29, I am expanding everything there that is plus. Follow me. Everything that is plus there, I want to expand them. So having expanded everything, I want to expand my cost column now. Now, to just help me have a grasp of my cost better, see what I'm doing, like normal spreadsheet. Those of you who are good with your spreadsheet, I am using the comma separator, and I'm rounding it up to the nearest, whole number. Now, can we see how it is on a weekly basis now, right? Now, let me go back to task, right? And choose move to, no, not task. Not task. Let's go to my costs, right? Madam Banker, please, can you confirm that everybody is hearing me?
I can hear you well.
Good. So my cost now, I'm changing my cost to be able to view it in values. Move to column, weekly calendar. Weekly calendar, I want to move it to column level. Did you see what I've done? Can anybody see what I am doing?
I'm seeing it, but it's not clear. I don't know how you got there.
You don't know how I got there. Okay, so let me go back to my weekly calendar. Now, all I did was, right, my task is on okay. So Mr. Johnson, did you follow me to this point?
No, I left to answer calls, so I just came. I saw this. I don't know how you got here.
Oh my God, Mr. Johnson, you have to watch the video, right?
Okay, no problem.
You have to watch the video. Then I'll promise you a 30-minute session 2 times in the coming week, right? So that I can just go to the order. So let me take my weekly calendar back to column, right? The reason why I do this is very simple. If I make this thing slightly smaller to display more information for me, will you see?
You can still see.
You can still see. So in week 29 now, I'm scrolling down. Banker has a total of, let me hide this. In week 29, how much does banker need to spend?
299.
So sorry, let me put borders, right? Can you see 299 million? 299,000. What are you spending it on?
Scaffold, token.
Scaffold is taking this 250.
And preparation of one.
Now, I don't know why it's listed it there, but I will need to go back. It must be a scheduling issue. So preparation of wall, and then, but if you watch, it's added just 250 and 49. That's how you are getting 299. So your week one, this is how much you need. Now you can change this later by yourself, right? Now week 30 of 2020 of quarter 3, how much do you need? You need 1.1 million. So your client may be interested in knowing what do you need this for. That's the breakdown. Okay, what's the total for?
Well, we can see that is 250.
So your total for scaffold is 250. So I'm not sure, it probably didn't add it here. I wonder why it's adding it up. There must be a scheduling.
All the weeks.
Yes. So, but if you add this now, if I click on this, it will add 1780. It's showing how much you need in week 30, week 31, week 32. So I'll need to there's probably something wrong with the scheduling, but I can't go to
showing the same amount for weeks.
Yes, it's showing it, but I discovered that it's not adding it to this cash requirement. Have you observed that? It's adding just the exact thing that is needed in week this. So what it's probably doing, I may not be able to trace it here right now, but there's something fundamental. But this figure is showing the exact amount that you actually need. Then your total, your total column is there. So for scaffold, see, let me do something right. Let me freeze this, right? So that when I'm scrolling, my activity will remain constant. Did you see how I freeze this? Some of you know how to do this in Excel, right? So that, see my total for each activity is still remaining as it is, right? But it's not showing you that of this total, week 30 took 1.1, week 31 took that, week 32 took this, week 33 took this. There's something wrong with the scheduling. So let me stop screen sharing, right? I want to go and generate cash flow from, do I still have your project, Mr. Zamfara? So,
you should have, sir.
please, whose project is this? Okay, it's still Banker's project. So, Mr. Zamfara, let me go and pick your project again.
All right, sir.
Okay, great. So, share screen. Can we see Mr. Zamfara project?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to report, because I want it exported in spreadsheet. I'm going to visual report, and I'm choosing cash flow, right? Mr. Johnson, please follow me carefully. Now I'm choosing cash flow, then view.
Yes, sir.
It's loading now.
Yes, sir.
Once it's done loading, it will Once it's done loading, it will open as a spreadsheet. Can you see the spreadsheet now?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to task usage now. Can you see the way it has come on?
Yes, sir.
So I'm opening up Q3, right? And then watch what I am going to do now. See my bottom right, I have 4 panes there. Task, I have weekly calendar,
Okay.
right? And I have cost,
Yeah.
right? So see my
Okay.
task. I told you that I always like using row for my task. So I am saying move to row label. Can you see it has opened up, right? So I can open up everything now. I've opened it up to task WBS level 1. Now, WBS level 2, I've opened up WBS level 2. So let me open up everything. So see, I'm opening it. Now, this task 2 level, right? That is where my work package is. You understand what a work package is? Good.
Yes.
Now, task 2 level is my work package. So I don't need the project title and I don't need the summary activities for now. Or let me just leave summary activities. Let me just hide the project title, right? I also want to hide this, and I want to hide my year. Mr. Johnson, are you following me? Mr. Johnson, are you following me? Now, check what I'm going to do. That pane on my right, it has disappeared, right?
Yes.
So if you want to see it, just go and click the table. It has appeared back. Can you see? Good. So I have opened up my task, but cost now, or weekly calendar. Let me go to my weekly calendar, and I want to move it to column level so that my week 1 will be on the column while my activities will be on the row. So I'm clicking column level now to expand my cash flow spreadsheet. Can we see what I've done now?
Yes.
I've just repeated the exact thing I did on Bankers project, right? So I am highlighting everything. I'm putting table, right? Then I am outlining my cost. See what I've done? I'm doing my cost. I'm applying a comma so that it won't be difficult in my eyes to read. I've applied a comma, but that decimal point, I want to remove it. So I will take it to the nearest whole number. Do we understand that one? It's a simple spreadsheet operation. Did we get that?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Now, because each time I scroll like this my task list disappears and I'm interested in having them appearing. Do you understand? So see what I want to do now. I put my cursor here, I go to view and I freeze the panes. Once I do this, once I'm scrolling now, my task is there. So it's easy for me to baseline, right? So now see Mr. Zamfara's project now. It's the same thing, but so this is his weekly cash requirement. This is how much it needs every week. So, okay, so let's just look at this one. Week 30, 615. Week 31, 1 million, 3 million, 44 million, 6 point this million. Now let me see, what's your total project cost to? 34 million, right? So let's just do a quick spreadsheet addition. Let me add from year to year, to year, to year, to year. I'm adding from week 30 to week 36. Okay, can we see that it added up, right? Can you see that it's added up to 34 million? There is a cost that is missing. Okay. Okay, so generally, this is the ideas of cash flow. You need to delve into this thing and discover more for yourself. And then you come back to me with questions. As you come back to me with question, it will tailor make and it will focus my answers to us. Now let me take questions quickly. Questions. Now it's a bit complex today. Now, don't worry. If you go back and watch this video and redo it several times, right? You are going to get it at the end of the day. So, okay, I have one, and let me see. Does any other person have questions so that I will know how many minutes to give him? No more questions. All right, Mr.
Anyway, sorry, Mr. Jonathan, before you take the questions, I think it's that 400,000 that you didn't add. When you add it, it sums up the project.
The project total. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for that observation. I think I may have to do one personal video and post. If I want to study Bankers Shedlin and what's his name? Zamfara Shedlin within the next 2-3 days. Let me see. There's something fundamental at the back end. Then I can now come and give you the answer. So, Mr. Dennis, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jonathan.
Yes.
When you were taking the first example,
Yes.
you talked about a client's equity before he's entitled to receiving funds from his sponsors. My concern is if you attempt to spread, let's say, his 600 million
Yes.
in the preliminaries,
Yes.
the tendency to put the money into activities that are though important, because what you want to attract is funds to push the actual work. So by the time you spread 600 million in preliminaries, you can skip. Of course, I know in a very projectized environment, some of these things are even basis. But again, you can skip some of these items so that the initial outlay from the client goes more into the project, than just the cosmetic effect, if you know what I mean. I'm talking from a background. There's a project at hand and it's similar. So if you tell the client, okay, we want to begin to plant trees, and allocate costs, of course, we can justify that we are in the peak of rainy season. But again, he is saying the client wants to see that these foundations have been completed, before they commit their funds. So the temptation not to inject the work into the core project and now lavish it on preliminaries with the expectation that these sponsors will come with their funds exist. I don't know. How do you want to manage such scenarios?
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Mr. Dennis, for bringing this practical aspect out. Now, this is what eventually some of these trainings I want us to form a community where we can be relating and sharing ideas. Now, like I told you, I had the meeting today and I was just sharing with us what the information I've gotten from him and what I probably have in mind to do. But from what you are saying now, it's a good advice for me so that when I sit to plan the project, I'll begin to both ask him questions and know what to do. Now, one thing he told me today is that he will not lie to me that he has some money, but nothing near 600 million. That is number one. Then number two, I asked, your equity, is your land part of it? He said yes. So what is likely to actually happen on an ideal situation is that after preliminaries, I should look for it may obviously not add up to 600 million. So I will now go to my project schedule. Since we are still planning, I'll go back to the MS project and probably move for some, should I call it, some activities under foundation to see how much cost can the 600 million accommodate. You know, like you are saying, I may end up saying, okay, maybe after acquisition of land, maybe pay for compensation, maybe we are buying, how do I call it? Maybe setting up maybe a store office and a site office can be part of that. I can now maybe say clearing and maybe setting out and even maybe excavation. I think I'll keep scheduling. That's what I plan. I've not sat down for it yet. I've not even started it. The meeting happened this morning. So I will keep scheduling until I see the reasonable activity that can go into the 600 million. If prelims will not exhaust the whole thing, of course, I won't build it in so that the client will just, you know, the financier will not say anything tangible. I may have to take some few tasks under foundation work, which sometimes, if you have the right resources, you know, you can do some of these things and money may not really exchange. And for example, if I bring a contractor in now, Dennis is a very big contractor, and I bring in him to the client. I introduce then Mr. Dennis to the client and say, Dennis has an APC construction company. Don't worry, he's going to do setting out and maybe excavate this trench worth maybe 5 million. Mr. Dennis will do it, and my client will not, because part of what I'm going to be doing with the client is to advise him on selection of resources and contractors that may not really cost him so much to put in. So if Mr. Dennis now promised me that, don't worry, I can do this work worth 5 million, me, I will record it as week 1 worth 5 million. We may not put the money down as cash, but until I get this 600 million, then Mr. Dennis, because he has been working in maybe Abuja and he has workforce in Abuja, can say, okay, guy, come and do this thing. I'll pay you guys next week or pay you guys in 2 weeks' time. So Mr. Dennis has actually transferred it to. So, like you said, these are practical discussions and practical ways that it is when you sit on the MS project that you can begin to see that, hey, I just want that 600 million and there's nothing tangible for the financier to see. No. They won't disburse. I will now go back and start replanning. Don't forget that you will plan and replan and keep replanning. So thank you for that observation. I don't know if I've been able to respond well to your observation. Oh, all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dennis. So please, Mr. Dennis, I may be calling you from time to time so that we can rub mind in some of these things I want to begin to do. So thank you very much for that. If you have questions or if you have any practical life project now that you have challenges, I know people here who are very graced, who are very experienced. You understand? They actually just come in on this my training to do some kind of area catch-up, refresher, or something. I know I can name 2 people here that I know that actually good with the MS project, but you know, it's just to see how we can learn. So these are guys we can actually learn from. So if you're handling a project now, you have challenge, you may want to ask a question here, and you don't know where the answer may be coming from. It may not even be me. And after now, please, let's go back to the chat room. And I think I can permit us, everybody here, I know where we are from, and I know we are responsible people. We won't take advantage of each other's privacy. But if you can, please, if you have, for example, you have problem with estimates or you need a BOQ and you want to beat your chest and be confident, Mr. Zamfara has gone off, but you can watch the video and hear me. You can contact Madam Banke. She's good with that. Mr. Dennis is a construction expert. He's handling a lot of big projects. I know Mr. Johnson is also a very good project person. Olamide, okay, I've not interacted with you for a long time, a while, but I'm sure one of these days I can actually ask us to introduce ourselves and just post our CV so that we can contact each other. If you have challenge, it doesn't have to be me. You can go to someone else and ask the question. Please, so ask questions, feel free. If there's not any other question, I know we are going to have question in the next 1 week. If you go to generate this cash flow really, and you don't have questions, then I will say that, Kai, your brain is a genius brain. So I expect you to have questions, and then you DM me or you call me, and let's fix an appointment to discuss it. If that is what we are agreed to, can everybody go to the chat box and just make a comment to say, okay, yes, we are good with that. We are good to go for tonight, and then we can. I will just say one more thing, and then we close the class. Let's use the chat box quickly, everybody. Yes, good to go. Thank you, Mr. Dennis. Esther Anthony, your hand is raised. Okay, can you unmute yourself and speak?
So we're good to go, sir.
You are good to go. Okay. Any other person, chat box, unmute yourself, speak. If you have any questions, good to go. Thank you. I'm good. I'm good with that. And we can always reach you out on the platform. Yes, please. You have 1 more week for the tutelage. So you can reach me on the platform. I will respond to you on the platform if it exceeds Saturday next week. But between now and Saturday next week, I can send you a private Zoom link, and it will just be me and you on the Zoom. I had one-on-one with Banker, and we didn't spend, I'm not sure, Banker, we did 15-20 minutes with the question you came with. But we now discussed a lot of other things that was both beneficial to both me and even Banker, you understand? So you can come to me like that, 30 minutes, and then we can do that. All right, thank you very much. I want to especially appreciate those of us who trusted in, in this program to enroll. And in the coming weeks, I'm going to share this video too. In the coming weeks, I'm going to be doing another version 2.0, and I'm going to be relying on your. Now, if I'm doing that version 2.0, I'm going to allow some of those of us here to come in just in case you want to hear what I'm going to speak in the 2.0. It's going to be the same thing, but of course, lessons learned from this one, like some of the observations Dennis have made and things I forgot, it's likely to be more richer than this, but you can come in free. But I'm going to be depending on you to help me publicize it. So please don't exit the platform yet. I'm going to be sharing a lot of more information. Then some of us, we want to tap from your wealth of experience. So let's form a community that together we can grow, right? Then I'm going to publicize the date of the next training. I would like us to please help me publicize it. Let me get more project managers on board, and then the community can grow larger. Thank you so much once again. And I want to see each of us at the top.